So my name is Rahaf Ahmed. I'm 21 and I live in Sydney. Recently, with the Islamophobia with the Reclaim Australia movement, with the protests that have been happening, with the hate that we see literally everywhere in the media, at uni, and you'll be surprised, but it's hidden. So you might not experience it firsthand, but it's everywhere. It's when you go to the coffee shop and the guy is like, yeah. What, can you spell that again? Okay, so you feel so uncomfortable recently, and it's also the lose of opportunities when it just because you wear a headscarf you can't work somewhere or you can't play a certain sport, and you feel like you're less of a person sometimes when you are as capable as anyone else, and if in fact you could be more capable. It's just that headscarf that pulls you down or that puts you down because you don't look like everyone else, or you represent a certain faith that not everyone is educated enough about, or they just want to remain ignorant. I mean, we have been associated with violence, with crimes, terrorism, because we're not criminals, we're terrorists. So, yeah, let's make that clear. And we don't have mental health or anything like that, mental health problems, but in fact, we're just terrorists. Yeah. So I think, we have been labelled as terrorists, and we have been labelled as, extremists, and, all these different very negative, labels. But I think this has been happening for quite a while, like after 9/11, and it just that sometimes the government needs this sort of hate or this sort of negative environment to sell their agenda, like all the anti-terror laws and all these different things, that everything, like we are a minority, that if they are trying to push for whatever agenda, they come and target us, and they give all the attention, media everywhere to this to whatever incident, and it becomes it, and we suffer and everyone else wins. I was one of the speakers at the Reclaim Australia rally, and I got really emotional, and it was actually I was very scared that morning. I got in my car and I was like, I'll drive to Martin Place, and I usually wear high heels. You'll be laughing at this, but I usually wear high heels to protest, but at this protest I was like, no, I'm scared that if I wear high heels I wouldn't be able to run away from somebody if they attack me. So I wore flats. I had to change in the car. I was like, no, I can't walk past with them, so I had to wear my flats, and I was so scared. I get into the protest. I got there quite late just to speak, and then I get there and I had my lawyer with me, not my lawyer but like a humanitarian aid, like human rights lawyer, and then she's like, yeah, you're fine, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm just scared, because when I was driving you would see all the Reclaim Australia side with signs that are very, very like I got really offended, and I was like, oh my god, all that hate, and dressing up in burqa and all of that, and no Sharia law, no whatever, and I'm like, why? What did we do? And so I get to the protest, and then after the protest we are heading to Land Cafe. Me and the lawyer and a couple of friends, we're trying to get some of the people that got arrested out of out of jail, and then this guy looks at me in the eye from the Reclaim Australia rally. So this was way after the protest, so like an hour after. So I'm walking, and then he looks at me in the eye and he spit in the floor. But I'm looking like, it's like, what are you thinking? And I was shaking, because when you look at somebody's eye and you see all that hate, you think like, oh my god. And then he spat, and I'm like, there was a police officer walking past. So I was like, excuse me, he just spat at me. And the officer says, did he? And he's like, it's in the floor. Did you not see it? It's just right there. If you want, I can stick your head, if you want it to be at you, I can make it at you. And I'm like, okay, are you going to do anything, officer, about that? And he just let him go. there was this Australian terrorist or whatever in Iraq or something, not Iraq, sorry, in Syria, who killed someone, and then one of his kids were holding a head or something. So I didn't know about that incident till one of the ladies from, I think it was Channel 7 or something, called me up, and she was like, hi Rahaf, like, yeah. She's like, I don't know if you heard, but then this happened this morning. And I was like, oh, okay, why are you calling me? And then she's like, I remember you from the Palestinian protest, and I saw your number at the flight. And I was like, why are you calling me? And then she's like, because there are like 4 others in that flight, so Damien, Josh, and then Rahaf. And then I was like, why are you calling me? She's like, I thought you're Muslim, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, of course I have something to say. I'm like, I don't. Why are you calling me? I was so frustrated. And I had, like, I'm not even aware of what's happening. I don't keep up with it. I don't want to keep up. Like, it's ridiculous, and I don't want to listen, follow it. And then she's like, but yeah, I mean, you of course condemn that action. And I was like, I have nothing to say. You can talk to this person, or that person. They are more aware, they know more about it, or they are, studying in that area or that field or whatever. And then she's like, yeah. But I mean, they go to, I mean, I'm not that, it's not like I'm a point of contact when it comes to tourism, it just, they have to go to the right people, and the media, it just, oh God, it's ridiculous how they go to kids and listen to people with little knowledge. I mean, you should go to someone that will represent Muslims, as, at their best, not like any other community. They go and speak to, lecturers and whatever when it comes to different issues. But when it comes to Muslim, they go to anyone at this, like in the street wearing, a scarf or with a beard, or, like, it's wrong. Like, those people might not have the right knowledge, might not have the right, information. So I guess that's very important. I always tell people to go and get educated. Like, I read about everything, and I expect everyone to do the same. I deserve, I have the right for people to know more about me than what other people have to say about me, more than what the media says about me. This is my basic right. We are always talked about, but never listened from. Like, and it's very sad. Like, you go. The most basic example, when you look at Q&As, and we had a Muslim last, on Monday, but before, like, you'll have all, white privileged guys sitting there and talking about Muslims, and you're like, well, you guys are talking about us, but there's none of us in there, and it's just ridiculous. Oh God, yeah. So we need to be, we need to have, they need to listen to us. We need to be able to speak our minds and, be heard. That's the main thing.